And so Lonis is here, who I believe you're the CEO of Dework, which, going on their website is a Web3 native project management tool with token payments, credentialing, and bounties.
I'm the founder. Yeah.
Founder, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I would love for you to just take it away in explaining the potential of your tool. I know it's used at banks in particular. I've had some contributors who also contribute at SharkDAO talk to me about Dework and recommend it before. So I've never had the chance to dig in, but I'm excited to learn more today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I've been spending a lot of time in this Discord servers before starting Dework. Before that, I was the first engineering contributor at DAO. This DAO that bought land in Wyoming and are building an on-chain city. Yeah, it was basically while me and my co-founder we were contributing there, we basically learned that we didn't have any good tooling for managing our workflows. So the contributors community, a lot of the folks in this call, for instance, wanted to find ways to contribute to the DAO. There was no transparent tool or platform that kind of showed the contribution opportunities, how you could get involved, how you could kind of step up through the ranks or the roles, how you could get paid, build your reputation and profile, all of that. So we basically started building Dework, and I'm super pumped to show it and get your feedback on it today.
Awesome.
Cool. So this is basically the landing page of Dework. So we have here thousands of contributors land every day to kind of find one of the more than 400 DAOs that have been set up here. More than 400 DAOs that have more than 10 members in them. So this is a great way for many DAOs to find the top of the funnel, to get a top of the funnel and to get exposure, because here many contributors come to basically find out which are the most active projects and DAOs in the space. So we have more than 400 of those. There are of course also a global bounty list where these kind of global bounties show up. So this is also a way to get with your work this global board. I think in your case, since you have a big community, this might just be a plus. I think you already have a lot of talent in your server already. So big part of Dework is partly, of course, this global thing, but it's even more about helping you engage your current community. So if we look at, for instance, how Nation3 does that, is their DAO page where they have their different guilds. So that's how they divide up their workflows. You can divide it up in other ways as well, of course. And then if we go to workspace, we can see here that they have a bunch of bounties, but also some tasks. They just track work, but aren't kind of being paid directly on the platform. They pay in maybe through salary or some other form. So this is one way where they keep track of all the work that's been going on very granularly. Of course, you can see kind of combined activity from their workflows in this combined board view, where you basically can track everything. As you see, they have a bunch of tasks, a few bounties, also a bunch of GitHub issues that are ported from their GitHub repo. Sure how many tech tasks you would have, maybe related to new clients or stuff like that. And in those scenarios, the workflows would sync between GitHub and Dework, so you could use both platforms in tandem. Basically, they sync back and forth. And one of the main things of managing to have this kind of active community that completes hundreds of tasks and bounties, like Nation3 in this case, is to have leaderboards, because that's the way to identify and reward the most active contributors. So here we can see contributors that have been most active and also reviewers. So this is a great way of inciting, basically rewarding the contributors. I have a bunch of more stuff to show. I just want to make sure to pause briefly to kind of see if there are any questions or comments so far. Happy to answer those throughout, but can also do it at the end.
I think you basically showed us a task board infrastructure for a community, and you can assign different rewards to those tasks. And then, if it all flows into like these metrics where you can see who's, completing all these tasks and being active in the community, which is pretty powerful and very interesting. So, obviously there's a lot to unpack there. Like, for example, who's assigning these payments? How do funds get transferred? Maybe that can be later, or you can get into it now. It's up to you. But yeah.
Oh, for sure. That's a great point. So the easiest way to show that is setting up an org for ourselves. So we just created this org here. We're landing on this product page, this part of the org at large. So here you can create these kind of workspaces from scratch. You can import existing stuff from Notion or Trello if you already have a bunch of things there, or you can use the GitHub sync as mentioned before. And then on the workspace level, you can kind of create these tasks or bounties, and you can have this be a task, or you can attach a monetary value to it. So you can add a bounty if you want to. And basically, the way we do payments is done through your Gnosis Safe or through Utopia, basically. So you could just attach this project. You can use Utopia as a payment method to this project, and then when you can just click add payment in Dework, and then it shows up in Utopia for signing.
Practically speaking, we just gave a demo of Utopia, so a bunch of our contributors here are either integrating it or are at least familiar with it. So that's cool that it's well integrated, like together.
Yeah. So we have an integration with Utopia, but also used with Gnosis Safe. So if people are still using Gnosis Safe, the Gnosis Safe client, of course, then they can still use that client. Let me actually just show you that. So it's.
And now, does this work only with ERC20s, or could you even do NFTs? Just curious about that.
It's a great question. So you can pay with any token. So that's actually not true. You can pay with ERC20, ERC1155, and 721. So most tokens at least. Basically, the way you do it is we just add a payment method here. We can use Utopia or Gnosis Safe to any chain. I'll just do the test network, and then you basically just grab your contract address of the safe, like that. But here, and then to your point, when we add the bounty, we then we can pay with ETH stablecoins or your own tokens. So you just select the token type and the contract address. I guess that's what you were mentioning. So then you can
yeah, exactly.
You can pay with a non-style NFT. Then you can also have it open to bids. If you don't want to set the bounty amount, you can just people submit their quotas, and then you can accept the quotas based on that. And then one of the parts we're doing the most work in currently is around, and have done for quite some time, is around having very granular ways of basically deciding how different workflows can interact with the contributors. And what that basically means is that there are many ways of assigning bounties. So you can assign someone manually, of course, in the team. You can also run contests, so that you might say, submit a great idea for our next marketing push or whatever. And then people can submit the ideas or the designs or whatever it is. And then you can pay based on the quality. That usually works best in high trust communities like yours, where there's a clear entry bar, and people trust each other more than way more than the average community. So then these tend to work a bit better than in other cases. But of course, you can also run application processes where folks apply and then can basically choose who to work with based on the quality of their profile or whatever. So I'll just show you how that looks like. I'll just add a bounty here first. So I added this to the backlog, and what directly happens is that you get a ping in your server saying that this has been added to the backlog. So you don't need to go to this board to see what's up. And then from the community perspective, you basically land from Discord, you land on this board page where I can read up on the bounty and also apply to it if I'm interested. So I can say I'll make sure to do this task. I might receive one nonce NFT or just stablecoins. And I say I have it done until mid next week.
Yeah, it'd have to be a pretty big task to get a whole noun.
Right. That is right. That is right. That would probably be a project rather than a task.
Totally possible, though. It's been done, so.
Yeah. You can just apply with whatever makes sense. So when you apply, what basically happens is we open a secret thread in your server where you and the applicant can speak. If there are questions or stuff, and also here on the task card, you can see people and basically assign or reject based on the quality of the profile, for instance. So this is a test profile, but a real profile would look something like this, where you can see all the tasks that's been completed across projects and DAOs and stuff. So you can see all of that. And you can also see if there are like reviews and stuff. And one way to kind of solve the cold start problem is that, of course, initially many profiles will be empty, but what we're doing instead is that we import the Discord roles folks have across servers. So even if someone doesn't have too many tasks on their profile, we can see that they are a mod in Poapathon, stuff like that. And that's a way to solve the cold start problem.
I didn't realize how integrated Dework is with Discord. I mean, so you're getting like kind of a user verification, or like some information from them from Discord, and also these private channels, and you have like a ping set up for new tasks. So yeah, I mean, there just seems to be a lot of integration there. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's right, because a lot of the community lives in Discord, and we don't just want people to use Dework to kind of get started in participating. So try to do that as integrated as possible, for sure. And then I guess the kind of way of bounty I think is most unique and also most excited about by far. Also probably would work potentially best in cases like yours, is that we can have a role-gated claiming. So applications is great for some use cases, but there's also some overhead to it, and you have to apply and you have to review stuff like that. Using role gating, you can granularly set up workflows that let trusted contributors with certain Discord roles self-assign. So again, you can create roles in Dework, but easiest is to import from Discord. So we basically grab the roles you have in your server as shown on the profile, but not only showing that on your profile, but also actually using that for permissioning. So here we can then say if you're an admin, core team, dev level 3, then you'll be able to claim this bounty, no questions asked.
It would still need to be signed by the multi-sig, but it would get pushed all the way through to the actual signing process.
You say again, sorry.
So when somebody does a direct claim, it will push the transaction all the way to the multi-sig, but of course it will still need to be signed.
Oh, right. It's a good question. So actually the way the Gnosis API works is that you can't even put something or signing in Utopia or the Gnosis UI if you're not signed. If you need to sign, a multi-sig signer must sign in Dework for it to be submitted to Gnosis.
I see. So there's a step from a multi-sig user to approve in Dework. Got it.
That's right. Mainly the way this is, so this task is still like in the contributor perspective. I can still apply to bounties with roles that I don't have, and I can see which other roles it's taken for, but I can't claim it. But then if we add to the role gating a role that that person in this case does have, which is dev level 1 role, we'll see now when we refresh that I won't need to apply anymore with this interested button. I'll just be able to claim it here. So I can just claim it, and now I'm the assignee. And now I can update the state of it. So I can drag it in progress, and then when I'm finished, I can submit my work here, or I can just drag it here if the work is submitted somewhere else. And then the reviewer, which in this case is Lonis, gets a ping in Discord saying that it's now ready for review. And then, so from my end, I see it here, and I can basically look at the submitted work, and then drag it to done. And then here, what we basically do is you can just pay all of it. So you click set up payment. It has to be connected to a payment method. But that's basically how it goes. But yeah, then you can use the create transaction here, and then to the multi-sig part. That's why when I sign it, I need to be part of the multi-sig, and otherwise this signing would fail.
Got it.
And yeah, now it's processing, and then you would just go to Utopia or the Gnosis Safe client. Then you would see it in the transactions queue here, less than a minute ago. And here you would basically execute it after you've executed other things. Yeah, so that's the main. There are a bunch of more things, or one more thing I guess I'd like to dive deeper on potentially. But yeah, happy to if there are any questions or comments or thoughts on that.
I mean, it just seems like I really enjoy that it's like a very straightforward workflow that's people are familiar with if they've used the task board in other settings like career settings, and it's just like the Web3 integrations are great, and that the fact that you're paired with Utopia is really exciting for me personally, at least since I'm a big Utopia user. So,
and yeah, the kind of last thing I'd show is that you can again use the Discord roles for permissioning in Dework. So you can say like if you want to be a workspace manager, then you need to have the dev level 3 or admin role. If you can create tasks, then we'll have these roles. People want to make it private so that not everyone can see the space, but just certain people. If you're a token holder, then you can do that as well. Cool. Yeah, and I'm always kind of super happy to kind of answer any questions now or like over DMs.
Yeah, thank you, Lonis. Yeah, does anyone have any questions? I thought that was a really great presentation.
I don't have a question. I just think that this is another great example of tooling that's available, and just want to say thanks for lining up yet another amazing tooling chat. This has been good.
Awesome. I'm glad. And yeah, personally, I already am thinking of some ways to integrate this with the esports initiative announced. So yeah, certainly seems like a great decentralized workflow. I kind of get where the name stems from, Lonis.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a Web3 Trello board in a sense, and it's it's super powerful, I think.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, Lonis, thank you for your time. That'll wrap up the demo, and yeah.
Sure, we'll do. Thanks so much.
Thank you.